Hey, what's up? This is Antonio. Welcome back to my channel. And who's ready for some fighting words? In this video, I want to do something special. I want to create a whole week for Australia. It's going to be called the Aussie Week. Why? Because I get so much love from Australia, and I want to show my appreciation and send that love right back. There's a lot of Australian fighters coming up right now, and also a lot of fights that showcase Australian talent. So it makes perfect sense in terms of the time frame. I'm going to kick this thing off with a rematch between Mairis Briedis versus Opetaia. So if you're unfamiliar with how I do a fight breakdown, basically I'll take both guys side by side. I'll run down a list of attributes. Whoever has more points in the end, that's the individual that I'm going to pick to win the fight. So without further ado, let's kick this thing off. I'm going to start off with power. Who has more power? Well, when we look at Briedis, he has 30 fights, 28 KOs, so he's got some power to him. Then I look at Opetaia, 24 fights, 19 KOs. It's basically kind of the same. Basically the same. So I'm just going to say it's a tie when it comes to power. However, who has knockout power, one punch, they both have that as well. So honestly, I'm just going to have to call that one a tie. If you're just talking about just brute strength and who has more power, you got to call it a tie. I can't really shivel this thing this side or this side. So I'm going to give it a tie with that. Speed, Opetaia all day. Okay, he's going to run circles around Briedis. Like Briedis, I think he's a tough dude. I think he's a very durable guy. He's been around for a very, very long time. But listen, typically it's the young lions who run this game, not the old dogs. So I got to give it to Opetaia when it comes to speed. Mental toughness. Well, typically what I do is I give it to the individual who's either the champion or the guy who's undefeated. Briedis has 2 losses. Opetaia, woo, it's a lot. Has no losses. Got to give it to him. Got no losses. Simple as that. Got no losses. And he's a tough dude, but yeah, he's got no losses. So when I look at mental toughness, I'm looking at the guy who's faced every challenge that was put before him and has walked through the fire in all challenges versus the guy who's faced a lot challenges, but did not walk through all of those challenges. He didn't make it through all of them successfully. So we got to give it to the guy who's has more success. And right now, Opetaia has a whole lot more success. Yes, he has less fights, but still, got more success. Got to give it to him. Let's see. Boxing IQ. Now, you would think Briedis would actually have more boxing IQ, but listen, you could be doing this you can have a guy doing this for, I don't know, 20 years versus a guy who's doing this for like 10 years. There's an age difference between the two guys. Yes, that's true. But Opetaia, he's a talented fighter. He's not just a talented boxer. He's a talented fighter. He's the guy you want to watch in the ring and you wouldn't bet against him. But he's also the guy that if you're having a problem outside and you need somebody to watch your back, he's that guy as well. He's a great fighter. Opetaia is probably the scariest thing in the ring since maybe a prime Triple G. You know, like he's a pretty scary dude. Everything about Opetaia is scary. The way he talks, like everything about the guy is scary. The guy don't laugh. Everything about the guy is scary. He knows how to fight. He knows how to box, light on his feet. Got to give it to Opetaia. Let's see. Versatility. Opetaia. Again, and just so we're not shocked, I'll let you know early, this might be a shutout for Opetaia. But yeah, versatility. I just think he knows how to mesh with people. You look at somebody like Briedis, and I don't want to knock him, but in a sense, when you watch him fight, he's more like a caveman. There's nothing special about his footwork. He doesn't put his hands together particularly well. There's nothing flashy about how he fights. I'll say it like that. He doesn't have the best defense in the world. It's very basic defense. Then you look at Opetaia. For his size, he's extremely light on his feet. Like, extremely. He's just pouncing around. He's extremely light on his feet. He's like a, what is he like? For his size, he shouldn't be bouncing around like that. Like, he's very light. He's very butterfly-like in there. But then he has that power. Then he has that short range and that long range where, you know, like, he understands distance extremely, extremely well. And I don't care who he's in there with. He's very versatile. I don't care who he's in there with. That individual is going to have a long night and a very tough time during that night in the ring with Opetaia. You got to give it to him when it comes to versatility. Best range. What's the best range for these guys to fight at? Is it up close and personal, or is it with some distance? What's the best range? Well, when it comes to Briedis, he's more of I would say the best range is up close and personal. He does have long arms. I mean, they're very tall guys, very lean and long guys. But I would still say his best range is up close and personal. Because if not, when he's at a distance, he's more like a club fighter. He's just winging these things. I don't feel like he's a straight shooter. When I look at Opetaia, he can beat you up with distance. He can beat you up close and personal. It's wherever you want to have this thing. If he's feeling it, you kind of want to get him up close and personal, because I feel like Opetaia at a distance is just more difficulty. He's fluid in his punches. He throws a lot of punches. He's not reckless with his punches. And then you give him space to think before he throws the punch. That's what you don't want to do. So the best place to have him is at a range where you could get a hold of him. Let's just say he gets off and he's getting a little too loose with his punches. You could hold him. Or you could just get wild right back with him. But then there's a possibility that you could touch him. But if he's at distance, Opetaia is just a very monstrous person with some distance between him and his opponent. So I would say his best range would be at distance, but he can fight in both, no problem. Let's see, defense. Who's better defense? So Briedis, he's very basic. Like I said, he's just very basic. He just puts his hands, and I'm like, yeah, but there's a whole lot more real estate to hit than just your face. So he's very basic. And he's only he's only using defense with his arms, because he's not a slick guy. He's not doing anything like this. He's not crafty with his footwork or anything like that. He's not lunging in and out. But you look at Opetaia, his legs are great defense. He don't have to be there. He's faster than you. He has great cardio. He don't have to be there. And he has this great shifting motion. He doesn't have to be there. But on top of that, he knows how to pick shots. So he can stay in his range, and he doesn't have to give up position, and he can pick shots and then fire back and respond. Opetaia when it comes to defense. Cardio, I just said it. Opetaia has great cardio. I would honestly say this one might be a tie, only because Briedis is just a tough dude. Like, he's a guy he's coming to fight. He's not coming to lay down. He's not coming to lose. And one thing you got to admire about somebody like Briedis is he believes in himself. And I think self-belief is probably the most important thing in a fight. If you're conditioned, what's the other most important thing? Self-belief. Hands down, self-belief. If you believe in yourself, forget what the crowd is chanting. Forget how many rounds you've lost already. Forget how many times you've been down. If you believe in yourself, well, then that's a different story. How many fighters have been down, got back up, and knocked the guy out? Countless times. How many fighters have fought with one arm? Countless times. How many fighters have fought with a broken hand? Countless times. How many fighters have fought with a closed eye? Countless times. A gash in the head? Countless times. So, broken jaw? Countless times. So it's just like, when you believe in yourself and you will not be stopped, that's just formidable within itself. And Briedis has that. I have to give him that. He's not going anywhere. You got 12 rounds, and if you don't get him out of there, he's there for 12 rounds. Opetaia is the same way, but he's got the cardio. He's got those young legs. He's got them 20-something-year-old legs. And when you got them 20-something-year-old legs, the 39-year-old leg Briedis is going to have a long, hard night, a tough night. He's got to try to catch Ja. But he's not going to be hard to catch, because Ja's going to be right in your face. So, he's young. He's like I said, the young lion versus the old dog. Who are you going to go with? I think it's safe to go with that young lion. I'm sorry. Got to give it to him. And by the way, that was a tie. Let's see. Footwork. Do we even need to go there? Opetaia. Let's not even go there, because it's obvious. Opetaia. So we're not even going to go there. What was a better jab? Briedis doesn't have a bad jab, but it's not as sharp. No. I'll say it like this: it's not as crisp and fluid as Opetaia's jab, and that thing is always just out there, and he kind of leaves it here too. So all he's got to do is extend a little bit and just twist it over, because it's already right there. It's already right there, It's already right there. So Opetaia, I think he has a better jab, much better jab. And Briedis doesn't throw straight punches that well. I just feel like he's more of a hooker. He likes to hook. But he doesn't do straight punches like that. Or not as, let me say he doesn't do it. Not as cleanly as does it. I'll say it like that. Bodywork, who's a better body puncher? This time I'll definitely listen, I think is a sound body puncher, but he's not a sustained body puncher. He will finish you with something, but he's not going to overly commit to body punching. I mean, just look at the way he fights. He's bouncing up and down. He's all over the place. And when you're a committed body puncher, you have to be a stationary person. You have to be like really committed, and he's not that. If it's an ending sequence, he's definitely 100% that. But Briedis all day. I think Briedis is better in close quarters anyway. He's just he's also a very muscular guy, big, strong guy. So it just works in his favor. Like I said, he would prefer to hook in terms of instead of doing straight punches anyway. So I got to give it to Briedis for body work. Punch output. Jout is not going to throw a ton of punches, but he's not lazy and he doesn't waste anything. Briedis, looking at that first fight, I mean, here's the thing. This fight is all about who's going to be first. If Briedis allows to be first, he's doomed. Period. He's doomed, and it's going to be a short night. Or the fight's not going to last the full duration of the rounds. But he's doomed. And he's got to find a way to be first. And he's also got to find a way to be last. Now, that's very, very difficult, to be first and last. How's he going to do that? He's got to put himself in some very uncomfortable and compromising positions throughout the fight, throughout the entire fight. And I think he's going to have to bring it to I think he's going to have to try to cut off that ring. I think he's going to have to try to do that very, very early. And I think if he's smart, he's going to try to bully and push him around. And don't let him get those young legs under himself, and take those legs from him. I would do, if I was in Briedis' camp, I would say, hey, hit him in his hips. Rocky Marciano used to do it. He would punch guys in the hips because he knows if I punch you in the hip, your legs are going to be dead for the entire fight. You're not bouncing around. You're certainly not going to go anywhere. Now you're going to be forced to see me mano a mano. That's what I would say. And when you have Opetaia, like I said, he's just very fluid. He's a very, very fluid guy. And the more distance he has between himself and his opponent, the more dangerous he is for his opponent. And the more fluid those punches are going to come. And it's effortless. It's effortless. Especially that two for Joe. But it's effortless. And so, listen, either way, Briedis is going to have a long night. And it's not looking too good on what I'm looking at right here. Danger. Who's more dangerous? Who is more dangerous? Like, push comes to shove, who's more dangerous? Who's more dangerous in a boxing match? Who's more dangerous in a street fight? Who is more dangerous? I got to give it to the guy who's undefeated. I got to give it to the guy who's the young lion. Opetaia. like I got to give it to the guy who has more ways of winning a fight. Opetaia. I got to give it to the guy who can lay you out with one punch. Opetaia. I got to give it to the guy who can throw 30 punches and all 30 punches hit the mark. Opetaia.